Hey Maria, welcome to the MasterCard Cup. Just want to give you an opportunity here to view your swing at regular speed. We'll let that play on through. We'll put you back in your address position, and we'll go ahead and take a look at a few things for you. So while we got you back here in your setup, let's first of all take a look at your posture, which is pretty good. Spine is straight and on a nice tilt. Legs come down into a nicely unlocked position. Your arms hang down out in front of you. Club works out to the ball. So pretty good posture here from you in association with good balance. Next thing we want to observe it has to do with your alignment. We can see that you're set up in a very closed stance. So your feet are aiming way out in this direction here. Theoretically, your club face is supposed to run parallel to your feet. Parallel lines on camera would have an appearance to converge, and even with that conversion, we can see that you're set up way over to the right. Meanwhile, the center of the fairway is back over here in behind your forearms. Okay? So obviously there's going to have to be some form of compensation where we either come over the top, try and pull the ball back to the yellow flag, or close the club face, or a combination of both of those. Let's go ahead and do a little split screen comparison between you and Chella Choi. Got some color-coded lines on the screen here just to use as a visual reference as it pertains to swing plane. I'm not going to deal with swing plane too much. Leave the lines on the screen so you can understand where the golf club's supposed to be going, but there's some pretty fundamental things that I sort of want to point out in your golf swing. Basically, when we draw a golf club back, four things we want. We want to turn our shoulders. We want to extend our arms back and around us, so don't let them congest to the core or to the body. We want to create wrist hinge, which means that from address, the club head right now is below and in front of our hands. We want to get the club head above and behind our hands. So as we're creating this turn and this arm extension, we're creating wrist hinge. And notice the club is on. Notice the club is on this red line the whole time. That means the club's coming back on proper swing plane. Swinging the golf club on plane is critical to creating power and accuracy. Lastly, we want to do all this about a very stable right leg. So as she's turning, extending her arms back, creating wrist hinge, we want to create this motion about a very stable right side. When we finally get the club to the top, what we're doing is we're working the club from red up towards yellow. Okay? So that's why these color-coded lines are here. So as you draw your golf club back, we can see your hands coming back nicely, but you maintain a very rigid relationship with the club in your forearms. So we're not creating any wrist hinge at all. The other thing I want to point out, I'm going to come back to Chella here, and I'm going to mark her spine. And what I want you to understand is I want you to understand that in a golf swing, while we're creating those four main things that were occurring, that turn, arm extension, wrist hinge, and doing all this about a very stable right leg, well, we're also maintaining the posture we created at address. So when she creates this rotation, notice she rotates on that same axis. Nothing changes. With you, when you make your backswing here, what's going to happen is you're going to stand up away from the golf ball. So as we're bringing the hands back, you immediately stand up out of your posture. So there's no wrist hinge. We're standing up. Get a little bit of wrist hinge in there, so that's good. Very nice. Club head's above and behind your hands, so nice correction right there. But we're still standing up as we're drawing this club back. When you finally get to the top of your backswing, we have a really good turn, stable right side. Your arms are still in good geometry relative to your core. I like the triangular position. It's just your arms need to be more upright. Your left arm needs to be a little closer to yellow. Now, your lines are too steep because of how you address the ball. So we actually don't want your left arm all the way up on your yellow line, because your lines are all going to change if we change your address position a little bit. But nonetheless, your arms are in pretty good position. Get a little bit more upright. Club's in really good position. Your arms looks really good. But you do need to learn how to create a rotational movement while maintaining your posture and not standing up out of the shot. Very important. So from here, as we create our downswing, all we want to happen now is we want the club to return from yellow back onto red, fire the hands through, and come off our right heel up onto our right toe. So here we go. Fire the hands, club returns to red, come off our right heel, up onto our right toe, and that gets us onto our left side. This allows us to finish our golf swing. So we're standing on the left side, hips square to the target, shoulders fully rotate, hands are high, clubs back behind us. And notice, she still has the same spinal relationship that we had at address. So we're always rotating on that axis. So with you, as you create your transition back into the ball, you drop your hands real nice, and the club's coming in from a really good location. I mean, I really like this position. Usually what I talk about is this backwards check mark, the relationship between the club head and the forearm. And what we can see is that, you know, when Chella Choi comes from yellow back down onto red, she has that exact same position as you, that backwards check mark. And what I want you to notice is that if we go back down to address, I'd said that this wrist hinge is very critical in the golf swing. So the club head again right now is below and in front of our hands. We make this turn, we create the wrist hinge, and we need to get this club head above and behind the hands. Well, guess what? She's in that exact same backwards check mark coming back. We get to the top, and we return right back to that backwards check mark. So very important part of the golf swing, and you're achieving it. It looks really good. Now, as you're coming back into the ball, unfortunately you don't have any footwork or knee work or hip work. So with Chella Choi from the top of the swing, she's going from right foot to left. Her knees and her hips are firing laterally to the target. So there's what I refer to as a dance move to the golf swing. With you, we're not really creating any of that motion in the feet, knees, and hips. So arms are working great coming back into the ball, but we're really not getting to a good impact position because we just didn't work our lower body correctly. Okay? So you do need to learn from the top of your backswing how to coordinate yourself back to impact, so we're utilizing our feet, knees, and hips correctly in association with the great job that you're doing with your arms and your hands. Okay? So as Chella comes through here, what we can see is she gets off that right heel, up on the toe, and what we notice is she's posting up on her left leg, and that gets us to a finish. So I don't think we're going to see this with you just because you're back on your right side as you're coming into the ball. We end up hitting the top of the ball, driving the ball down in the ground. Notice we're, again, pulling away from the golf ball again. And we can see that we're definitely not creating that proper footwork. We actually take a step with our left foot, which should not happen. Okay, so definitely need to learn how to create proper footwork through the finish. I say that's the #1 thing you really need to change in your golf swing is, hey, get to the top of your backswing, and now move your weight from your right foot to your left foot by getting your right heel off the ground up on your toe of your right foot, and try and get in this finish where we're standing on a nice tall left leg, all the weight's there, and the hands are high. So overall, I mean, you have a lot of potential here. Your hands work well. I mean, they come back, they fire through. Your core works well. You coil, you uncoil. Like we were talking about, you need better footwork through to the finish to aesthetically give us a better finishing position, and that'll completely change the entire outlook of your golf swing. From here, we have to change your alignment. We have to get your feet running parallel to the target. So we have to bring your right foot up to be running parallel to your left foot so your feet can run in this direction. The other thing we see here is your ball's way too far back in your stance. So you got your ball way back on your back foot here, and your club face is closed. So really important to understand where the ball needs to be. Well, for a driver, it has to be up off the instep of your left foot. And then when you position a driver behind the ball, it has to rest on the back sole. Right now, you're leaning the grip ahead of the club head. You're de-lofting the club, and the club's just not going to be able to function the way it was engineered to perform. Okay, so we got to get the ball more forward. We got to lay the back sole of the driver on the ground. That'll maintain the loft on the club, and that'll help us create some launch angle to our golf shot. So from a face-on view perspective, without having the camera facing you, very important we get the ball way more forward for a driver. Get that club resting on its back sole. Okay? Then from there, square your feet up, get your run in parallel, and then as we get back to your golf swing again, we would like to obviously learn how to bring that club back with maybe proper hinge a little bit earlier on. You end up achieving it. Learn how to get your arms set a little bit more upright, but definitely very important as well is learning how to create a rotational movement where we're not standing up out of our posture here. So we got to learn how to create this turn while maintaining our posture. That's critical. That pulling away from the golf ball makes it very, very difficult to hit the ball, and this is one of the main reasons why you're topping the ball. Okay? From here, simply just want to get off your right heel as we swing through. That'll get you into a much better finish, and that would look a lot better. Okay? And then obviously learning how to move to impact from the top of the swing with the lower body is obviously critical, because that's a main dance move that I refer to in the golf swing. Anyways, any point in time you ever want to work on any of these aspects of your golf game, feel free to reach out. Be happy to coordinate a little program for you. Also, if you're involved with any golf tournaments at all, you're looking for a unique gift to provide your guests, feel free to touch base. Be happy to discuss my swing analysis services. Anyways, hope you had a fabulous day, and I hope you enjoyed getting an opportunity to see your swing on video. Take care.